So I received a parcel coming in from Heroics and Ros figures in the UK. This was where I'd asked for some reinforcements for my Polish army that I'm working on, in principally the artillery crews, which I'd forgotten to order, as well as some more armour. So that was some Leopard tanks for their opposition, the Danes, and some T-72s for the Poles themselves. I also took the opportunity to just round out one or two other little collections that I've been working on. So with everything that comes from ros&heroics, they print a copy of the order for you and list down what's on the order and check it off as they enter it into the envelope to send. So first off, what were the oddball things I picked up? Well, first is a reconnaissance aircraft, a Belgian reconnaissance aircraft, the Renard R31, which I'm planning on using for my Belgian early World War II army. So it comes in a kit form, so it's a high wing monoplane, so it's one where I'm going to have to see if I can get my fat fingers to glue the pieces to the aircraft itself and to the wings without sticking my fingers together. Ask me again if I like super glue. Alright, what else? I wanted to get some ancient figures as well, some barbarians, or in fact ancient British. The idea being that I have some Romans now in amongst my collection, so I'd like to get some opposition for those. So I picked up 5 packs of those. I have pack MAF1, which is General Gallic type troops. So you can see through the packets they've got the Gallic type shields, and there's a mix of infantry standing and throwing spears and generally getting engaged, plus some archers which can be used to pad things out. Then packs MA16, 17 and 18. MA16 contains 5 of the ancient Britain or British 2-horse chariots. So there's 2 horse, 2 crew and a chariot by 5. So I got 2 packets of those, which is 10 chariots, which when I finish basing it up will provide enough mobile chariotry for the ancient British. Then MA17 is the British infantry, again looking like the figures in AF1 with that distinctly Celtic shield. And to round that off, some artillery, some cavalry, light cavalry for sorry, not light cavalry, well, yeah, light cavalry I guess, for the ancient British to give them some mobile troops. Back in a minute with the rest. Also purchased was the artillery crew that I'd forgotten to do, plus some command figures. They're kind of all spread through here. I'll take a look at those a little bit later. But probably the most important part were the reinforcements for both the Danes and the Poles. And in here we have some more armour, some more goodies to hang or to pass around. So here, for example, where are we? See if we can get that to focus. There we go. So that's the hull for a Leopard tank, and these will be the turrets for said Leopards, which will go to provide some more oomph for the Danes. And then for the Soviets, sorry, for the Poles, we have some T-72s. So the hull for the T-72, again, get some focus here. Alright, I give up and try and focus down here. So there we've got the hole for the T72 and the turrets for those as well. So remembering that these are ros&heroics and not the GHQ that you may be used to seeing. The advantage of the ros&heroics, of course, or heroics ros I should say, is their price, and they actually make quite reasonable tanks. As you can see, the outlines, the leopard tank is somewhat taller and chunkier than the T72. And the last little piece for all these, of course, is some machine guns to clip off and add to the turrets. So it should be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24 tanks here. So that's 12 leopards and 12 T72s. So my little Danish force, which I'll show later, will then have a choice of Centurions or M47 Walker Bulldogs or Leopards against poles from equivalent eras running T3485s or T54s or T72s. So I can see some more painting coming up. Still, this is Holy Week in the Philippines, so today's the first day of the 4-day break, so I'm looking forward to starting to set these guys up for painting later. Speaking of things being set up for painting, I did get around on the T3485s. They've been put on bases. The bases have been covered in sand. I added some aerials to them and undercoated in brown. It sort of looks a little bit dark at the moment. See if we can brighten this up. Well, maybe that's a little too bright, but you can see that's a reasonable sort of brown undercoat, and I'll start painting those this weekend as well. More on that later. Okay, so that's what was in the bag. What else have I got, or in the mail, what else have I got planned for this weekend? I'm not going to do a Pinky in the Brain and plan world domination, but I also received a book to start having a look at, which is the Arctic Convoys by Richard Woodman. This was originally written back in 1974 and it's been re-released a number of times. This edition was released in 2018 by Pen and Sword, so it's now under the Pen and Sword imprint. I really must learn how to focus this better. As you can see, the book itself is about 500 odd pages. Everything you ever wanted to know about 4 years of Arctic convoys. So I'm really looking forward to getting into these, and that should lead nicely into some work I've done in the past, or some reading I've done in the past with my good friend Mal on his convoy game. Alright, do have a nice Easter, keep safe people, and we'll have some more from On the Workbench or in the mail, probably in a week or two, maybe even sooner if you're lucky.